And here is the Writer's Almanac for Wednesday. It's the 5th of June, 2019. It was just after midnight on this day, 1968, Robert Kennedy was assassinated in Los Angeles by Sirhan Bishara Sirhan, a 24-year-old Pakistani immigrant, hours after Kennedy had won the Democratic presidential primary in California. He was walking through the kitchen of the Ambassador Hotel. He was shaking hands with a 17-year-old busboy named Juan Romero when Sirhan began firing. Other men with Kennedy tackled Sirhan, and Romero knelt by Kennedy and put a rosary in his hand. It was on this day, 1977, the Apple II computer went on sale, opening the era of personal computing. Developed by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, it was the first successful mass-produced microcomputer designed for home use. It's the birthday of the Scottish economist and philosopher Adam Smith, 1723, in Kirkcaldy, Fife, in Scotland. He was a professor of logic and moral philosophy at the University of Glasgow, and it was in 1776 he published his best-known book, The Wealth of Nations, in which he says that the pursuit of individual self-interest will lead as if by an invisible hand to the greatest good for all. And it's the birthday of the poet and playwright Federico Garcia Lorca, born in Fuentevaqueros in Granada, Spain, in 1898, who became famous in Spain with the publication of his Gypsy Ballads in 1928. In 1929, his family worried about him because he was depressed after his romance with Salvador Dali had broken up, sent Lorca to the United States. He lived in New York and wrote A Poet in New York, published posthumously in 1942, after he had been executed by the Franco-nationalists in 1936 during the Spanish Civil War. They drove him to a hill outside his hometown and shot him, and his body was never found. And it was on this date in 1851 Uncle Tom's Cabin began its serial run in abolitionist newspaper The National Era, ran in weekly installments for 10 months. Published as a book in 1852 by Harriet Beecher Stowe, it sold 300,000 copies in the first year in print, attracted thousands of people to the abolitionist cause. And it's the birthday of the poet and novelist David Wagner, born in Massillon, Ohio, 1926. Grew up in Indiana, industrial town between Gary and Chicago, and then went out to the Pacific Northwest. He was offered a job at the University of Washington. He said, when I drove down out of the Cascades and saw the region that was to become my home territory, my extreme uneasiness turned into awe. I had never seen or imagined such greenness, such a promise of healing growth. Everything I saw appeared to be living ancestral forms of the dead earth where I had tried to grow up. I came from a place where nature was ruined, and here the natural world was still in a pristine state. Poet and also novelist, wrote 10 novels, best known for his novel The Escape Artist. Here's a poem by John Clare entitled Summer. Come we to the summer we will come, for the woods are full of bluebells and the hedges full of bloom, and the crow is on the oak a building of her nest, and love is burning diamonds in my true lover's breast. She sits beneath the white thorn, a plaiting of her hair, and I will to my true lover with a fond request repair. I will look upon her face, I will in her beauty rest, and lay my aching weariness upon her lovely breast. The clock of clay is creeping on the open bloom of May. The merry bee is trampling the pinky threads all day. And the chaffinch, it is brooding on its grey mossy nest. In the whitethorn bush I will lean upon my lover's breast. I'll lean upon her breast, and I'll whisper in her ear that I cannot get a wink of sleep for thinking of my dear. I hunger at my meat, and I daily fade away. like the hedgerows that is broken in the heat of the day. John Clare's poem, Summer. And that's the Writer's Almanac for Wednesday. It's the 5th of June, 2019. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.